disorder. It's me, Levy Lupu. I'm very excited to. I was very excited about the episode today, actually, because the person I had Greg over, a comedian friend, and that was actually the first episode I used using the equipment which I've basically settled on. So it's going to be interesting. I think about 35 minutes into the actual conversation, we had some technical difficulties, and we had to just, start up. So you're gonna hear a weird, I mean, actually, you're not gonna hear anything because it wasn't working well, and then you're gonna hear everything as if nothing happened. Um, I mean, actually, that's not true because I didn't do the transition too well. Anyways, let's not, let's not worry about that. All I gotta say is it's gonna be a good episode. We talked about a lot of stuff. We just had a nice time. And he was the first guest in what now is my old place that I've actually no, sorry, Liam was the first one in person, but yes, Greg was the first one to have come over and record with my equipment that I'm using from now on. Maybe you didn't need to know that. I think yeah, you might have not needed to know this, but I thought I'd share it with you anyway. Now, on more important things, or not more important, but just other things. I I had a really weird week. I started the year feeling very good, excited about the future, but then I just felt very sad for a couple of days. I couldn't shake it off. I didn't want to get out of bed. I managed to do it. I used the opposite action a lot this week. Even though my please wasn't as good, I've overeaten a bit. I didn't sleep too well. Actually, I didn't sleep at all the other night, but that's another thing. But yeah, opposite action was something that I used a lot, rather than just wanting to stay at home, rather than allowing myself to stay at home and just be, on my own with my own thoughts. I actually forced myself to get out, and it's kind of worked out. I think yeah, I actually did. I had some pleasant conversations with the people that I've seen or met, because I left the house, so that's good. I also went to my day job, so I get paid, which is beautiful. I love that. But yeah, I realized I was chatting with a friend of mine the other day, and I figured out that the reason why I felt the way I did is because the reason why I felt so sad is I miss my parents, and I wish they were here. Things are going. I want to say right. I don't want to jinx it now, but the things are going. The things for me are good. I can't complain. I'm in a safe space. I'm in a good space, and I just wish they were here. I wish they could see me now. I wish I could celebrate all these things that happened to me recently with them, and I can't. And it's unfair and it sucks, but what can I do? It's I just try to keep their name, remembered, and I try to remember them as much as I can, and to um, think of them as much as I can in a good way, I guess, or in a positive way. It's not necessarily good or bad, but just in a positive way. I try that, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I I had some very disturbing thoughts, and that was a bit, hard to, not hard, but it was just weird to, I guess, tell people. Even though my partner, she's very supportive, and she knew, and I told her as soon as the thoughts came into my head that I'm not well, I don't think I belong here as in the world. And yeah, she was just wonderful, and she listened, and it was fine. I just needed to sleep for a bit, and then I went to bed, and I couldn't actually sleep. I think I slept like 2 hours, and it was quite weird because from forcing myself to sleep, I ended up to get annoyed about the fact that I can't sleep, so I force myself to stay up. Yeah, very counterintuitive, but in the end of the day, I ended up falling asleep. I had a good sleep, but the other night, so I think on Thursday night, I didn't sleep at all, which was wild. But it's okay, we move. I don't think I had to remind myself recently that sometimes you can't really. I mean, really, you just can't plan when your body shuts down on you, or like when when you feel unwell. You can't. In my head was all this thing of, oh, I'm just gonna keep going for a couple of weeks, and then I'm off. I'm going to see my family in a couple of weeks in Romania, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll just be sick when I'm there, but at least you know what, I'm off. I have the time to be sick. Doesn't work like that, and yeah, I just found out now. And I think that was like the biggest and a very big chunk of like the beginning of 2024 was dealing with my head essentially. Um, I am starting gigging again from this weekend, moving on, and I'm very excited about it. I've wrote a few new bits. Um, you might not hear them, to be fair, because I don't know how good they are, but I did write, and I'm making myself write more, and just to stay sharp. I don't think it's gonna be any good, but yeah, just gotta keep make a habit, make a good habit. And yeah, I think now I'm gonna let you enjoy the interview the conversation. I thought it was an interview, but it's more of a conversation. It's a two-way street. We're just having a good time. But yeah, I'm going to let you enjoy my conversation with Greg Houston. He's a brilliant comedian from Canada, and he's been doing well around the UK. He's doing a few gigs in Europe as well, and we talked about that. And yeah, it was just a very pleasant conversation. So. Thanks, folks, and enjoy the conversation with Okay.
Do we pick that up?
I think so. So, yeah, I got Greg Houston here with me.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's great. How's it going with you, Levy?
Yeah, I'm all right. How's your journey?
It was fine. Just started to rain right when I came up to the door.
Oh.
Which just means get out of outside and get inside. Come to this podcast. That's what the world's telling me.
Nice. Yeah, that's probably a sign. Are you gigging tonight?
I'm not gigging tonight.
Oh, nice. Taking a break. How was the weekend? Did you?
No gigs. I mean, Friday I had 2 gigs, but no gig yesterday. So no gig tonight, but then back at it Monday, Wednesday, and then all next week and stuff.
What are you doing on Monday? Is your Maple Leaf?
My new show that I've started, and I should say Tyson Bradley mostly started, and he got me to come in after he did all the groundwork and stuff. But yes, the show is called Maple Laughs. It's at the Maple Leaf Pub at Covent Garden. It's every other Monday right now. In the new year, it might be every Monday, who knows? But it's a fun pro showcase show where we've got TV-level headliners like touring professionals and stuff, and then some good pro-ams opening, and then kind of newer comics doing some shorter spots in the middle and stuff. And yeah, it's good, fun Covent Garden Monday night. Where else would you want to be?
Yeah, I agree. No, I think that sounds cool. And are you doing any Any shows at the moment? Are you taking anything on like tours or?
Yeah, coming up in the new year in June, late June, I'm going to Germany for a show. So I'm gonna figure out exactly. I haven't booked it all yet, but probably either start or end in Amsterdam. So either before the Germany show or after, I'll go to Amsterdam, do some gigs there, and then maybe Vienna or Austria, or maybe more of Germany. I've never been to Berlin and stuff, so I've heard it's great.
I heard so too. Yeah, I heard they have some decent like the comedy scene is really good.
Yeah.
But you've traveled a lot in already, right, with comedy.
I mean, yeah, I've traveled. I mean, I moved from Canada to London, England, which is 5,000 kilometers. It's a lot for some.
But then you're also traveling around Europe because I think you've done some gigs in like, was it Luxembourg?
Yeah, I just did Luxembourg at the beginning of the month. I did it again. It was the second time I've done it. First time, the owner slash producer slash host had just opened up a comedy club in this past September. So he wanted me to come back and do early October as soon as possible to go headline and stuff. And yeah. But I mean, it's mostly in Europe. It's been like Luxembourg or UK. I haven't gone around too far. Besides some US stuff and all over Canada.
Okay, when did you come to UK?
October 2021. So just over 2 years ago.
No way. That's when I started doing comedy.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, October 2021. Around I think 4th of October or something, like the first Tuesday or the second Tuesday of the month.
Nice. Yeah. How'd it go?
Well, the first one.
Yeah. Every detail.
You know what? Actually, well, the first one actually
seared into your brain.
Yes, because it wasn't too bad. Just because I feel like I had a bit of an unfair start because I wrote my material in probably 2020. So okay. I had a 5 minutes which I have experienced, and I tried in front of my mirror and close friends for a year.
Oh,
you know, and then
you wrote it, but then you also
you
so didn't just like hold it to yourself. You're like, oh, I gotta fucking tell everyone during lockdown.
There was a lockdown. Yeah, that's the thing. There was like there was a lockdown, and then when I went to actually do it in person, I still have the video of it. But when I did it, it was actually okay.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's because they announced me as, oh, this is the guy who's doing it for the first time, so everyone was more supportive. But I think it's maybe like, I don't know. I think it's like 10 gigs in that I started feeling the actual, like, what an open mic feels like, or like what it feels like to start doing comedy. Because I stopped having like my mates coming with me. I went on having no audience besides of other comedians, and then I also went on trying new stuff. And then I was like, oh, okay, not that good. Yeah, so I feel that's why I always, because people go, oh, the first one. No, I think first one was actually okay for me.
First one's usually easy. First one's usually pretty easy. It goes pretty well, especially if it's like a decent show. Because then people will be like, hey, it's this person's first time. Like, show them so much love. Because like the crazy thing that everyone always forgets is like almost every audience wants the show to go well. Like, almost every audience at a comedy show really wants it to go well. Like, there's very little audiences that, like, want it to go badly.
I think it depends, because I seen it, like, with gong shows in London.
Gong shows don't... That's what I'm saying. Gong shows are... That's, like, a cry for help if you're going to a gong show to watch a gong show. Like, there's something wrong with you, because, like, you're just signing up to watch car crashes and stuff, and you also... It's, like, gladiatorial. It's not... No, real shows, which are not gong shows. Everyone at home listening, gong shows are not real comedy or shows.
Do you... have you ever watched Fear Factor?
Yeah, back in the day, yeah.
I feel like that's how I remember watching Fear Factor as a kid, and that's how it kind of feels like at the Gong Show. You're just signing up for like the worst. Did I tell you about what happened at the creek when I touched the sign and I got electrocuted?
No. That's pretty good though.
Yeah, I was doing the up the creek one, and then I touched the sign,
Nice, very nice neon sign right behind the stage. So
I should have not
beautiful.
touched it.
Yeah.
But I have touched it, and it just like my hand just like blew like away. I froze. I couldn't say anything. I just looked at the crowd. Then the 3 lights went on, like the
What?
blackout. Yeah.
Did they like light you or?
No. That's what I'm saying. The 3 lights went on and off, and the all because I was just like standing. I was doing nothing there.
Yeah.
I could see cards going up, and I just walked out. And I took my jacket, walked out in
And just
DLR.
walked out
just walked straight in
straight
the
into
tube.
traffic. Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to be sick. And then I got a notification from my watch saying that my heart rate has been elevated and all that. And yeah, and I went.
Yeah, your watch is like, you just got electrocuted. What's happening?
Yeah, and then the next day I went to A&E because I was like, I'm not going on a Thursday evening. So I decided to go on Friday daytime.
Why was that better? You don't want to get the Thursday night crowd at the A&E, you know?
Yeah, I was like, no. I'll go on Friday, and yeah, and then the doctor, she was very very what's the word?
Not impressed?
No, she was very patronizing.
Oh yeah.
Because she goes like, well, next time when you see something shiny, maybe don't touch it. And again, in one hand, I was like, well, you know what? Thank you for helping me. But in the other hand, I was like, that's not necessary.
NHS service at your best. There.
I mean, again, it's not to say because they're having it tough. But I was like, you know, I just didn't expect to be roasted.
Yeah, like I understand that the NHS right now is like you're stuck on a roller coaster that people keep taking parts away from. Like, people keep taking away support structures and, like, screws and bolts, and sometimes it's just a little stuff, but people keep doing it, and you're stuck on the roller coaster because you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're a GP receptionist. I get it. But all the people that have to also join you on the roller coaster, they're on it as well. So you might as well, like, have fun.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Yeah, it's going to collapse eventually, but... hopefully you're not on the loop-de-loop when it goes down.
Oh my God! What's the name? There is a doctor who started writing. I think was it Adam K or something like that. It was anyway. Like he wrote. This is gonna hurt. It's a book that he's wrote, and apparently he's a comedian now. But he worked in. I don't know if it was private or NHS, but still, yeah. I think again, I don't want to. Say anything.
Flag off the NHS.
Yeah, because I know it's.
Look, I come from other free healthcare. Okay, so I come.
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually,
I come from Canada. And by the way, that's why I sound like this. Everyone listening at home, I'm Canadian. I'm very sorry about that. I'm sorry. But yeah, no. So we have free healthcare too, and it's also like getting ruined by conservative governments as well. But like, it hasn't been as ruined. It's been ruined in certain ways, worse than the NHS, but not as bad as in other ways. So.
Oh, so is that like what made you like? Did you want to move to Europe or to England just or to pursue comedy, or was it like a combination of? I don't really.
It was like 90% like comedy, yeah, to like pursue comedy, and then like 20%, I guess, just like. I got a day job opportunity that like relocated me, and personal life, like coming out of like second lockdown in Toronto was just like, why am I living in Toronto? Like, there's nothing happening. Like, I wasn't seeing anyone romantically or anything, and like comedy was so locked down for those 2 years in Toronto that like it was just like, well, if I go to a different place, I'm gonna restart anyway. So there's like. As much goodwill or whatever. Like, I started comedy in Ottawa in 2012, and I lived there until 2018, like fall of 2018. And then I moved to Toronto, so like it was only in Toronto for like 2 years, and then really a year and a half, and then lockdown. So it was like I didn't build up enough reputation or goodwill or whatever that like I was getting a little bit of heat, and then COVID happened. Like, I was going to do some JFL showcases and stuff, but yeah, it's just like everything locked down. So it was like, okay, well, I might as well move to another country, because anywhere that you move, you always have to restart, kind of thing. So
yeah, that's like, a fair point.
Yeah, might as well move to London, where I want to try a go of it personally and stuff. So, yeah, the healthcare was not a factor, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Yeah, I moved to London almost a year, maybe 10 months after I started doing comedy in Manchester, and I don't know if I moved for now I don't know why I moved. To be fair, I'm kind of
Manchester scene's blown up these days.
It's really nice. Yeah, it's a. I feel like if you're driving as a comedian as well, it's good. But if you rely on public transport like I do, it's not great because I think like after 10 p.m. everything is just locked down.
Yeah, you get stuck out. And
yeah.
I mean that seems to be the thing. Is like basically you're a London comic that doesn't have a car, or you're a comic somewhere else in the UK and you have a car. Like that seems to be like the only two options really to do comedy in this country.
Yeah, and I don't mind it. I like traveling around London. I like to go out and gig. Do you go out of London much?
Yeah, not like I don't know, like a couple times a month probably on average. Like, but I generally try to only do it if it's paid, just because it's like it's not overly. So yeah, at the end of the month, I'm supposed to be going to. Sorry, everyone listening to this in the future, but at the end of this month, I'm supposed to be going to Woking to do a gig. Where I don't know what that is, but it's I think South Surrey based or something.
Woking, I heard about it.
Yeah, I don't know where it is.
Okay.
And then also at the end of the month, I have a good gig in Henley on Thames, which is like kind of like west.
Oh, okay. I feel like stuff that's on Thames is usually, I think,
everything west on Thames is rich. Yeah. So, and it's at a hotel, so
wow.
You know it's going to be ballin'.
Nice.
And I'm going to Birmingham too at the end of the month too.
You doing? Is it Glee or
no? This guy Alex Egan. He has a club.
Oh yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, so it's all at these places called Summer or something. And so, yeah, he runs like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in like Birmingham and Leicester and stuff. So great dude. And I did it in the summer, and then he asked me to come back.
Nice.
Do a couple nights. So yeah, I need to get in with Glee. I need to get in with a lot of other places. Like, need to do Brighton and like Bristol, Cardiff, and all these places.
Nice. So you have a bucket list of some sort.
Well, it's just with how this country works. Like, you just eventually get in with whatever club, and then you do that every 6 months or every 12 months or whatever the rotation is, and then you start getting paid to do comedy basically professionally and stuff. Well,
sounds good.
Yeah, in theory.
But I think in theory, yeah, exactly. I think when you're like, on paper, but you kind of, I feel like any sort of plans that I've made, they've been, I don't know, just didn't happen. You know, I think even with this, like, even with the podcast, I think at the beginning of October, I was like, I need to start journaling, and I was like, I hate journaling, and then I was like,
Yeah. So, like break this down because we've only just done the intro. What is this show? What are we doing here? Who are you? Who am I? Who's the cameras? Who are we talking to?
The cameras.
Yeah, where are the cameras in this room?
Yeah, so on makeup, we've got someone who's doing volunteer work.
Yeah.
No.
Intern.
Well, I am Levy, and I've recorded this for maybe less than a month now. I am still not sure what it is, but what I like to think that it is it's a conversation with other artists about stuff, you know, random. I had not necessarily a list per se, but I was going to go through some topics with you, like the Camden Fringe shows that you've done, and like what you're doing with them for the next year, for example. And yeah, just getting to know some other people. And then
Amazing.
The way it's going to work is that at the beginning of the podcast and then at the end of the podcast, actually mostly at the beginning, there will be like a 5 minutes of me actually
Little
journaling.
intro. Okay.
And explaining, or not necessarily explaining, but it's gonna be about like me, and I thought I'm just gonna read out my journaling notes from like
Nice.
the I know the struggles, because I don't want it to define me that I have the borderline personality disorder, but just how it feels like, and that there is still
The journeys.
the
journeys for the journal.
yeah.
Yeah.
But in like less of a, I think I'm gonna go really crazy. It's gonna be very like loads of beeps, and a lot of like, it's okay,
Nice.
it's okay. Just because someone walks too slow in London, you don't have to hate the world. And I'm like, that's
Yeah, you don't have to, but sometimes on transit, it really, if you accidentally body check people, I'm a big boy, and I don't mind really bumping into people that are like blocking the tube doors or something like that, if like trying to get out, or just blocking stuff with backpacks or what have you. Yeah, taking the transit in London is an event.
It's just that I think, and I know I shouldn't, but I do. Sometimes I'm like, just look at other people, like pay attention to people around you.
Oh, situational awareness.
Yeah, it's like when people get out of the tube and they just stop. And I'm like, lady, gentleman, person, this door is going to shut in 2 seconds and I need to get out. I'm just blocked by someone because they're like, is the exit that way or the other way? I'm like, no, what about you get out, walk a little bit further.
Is that thing that says way out and then with the arrows clearly demarcated? Should I go that way? Or should I stand here for a second?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check my phone. Oh, that doesn't work still. I'll look back up there. I'll start going one way and then I'll go the other way. Yeah, I understand it's an international city and maybe people don't overly speak English as well and stuff. But it's also kind of like it's pictographed in a way that you should know.
Yeah.
Get out, keep moving, go to the exit. Like it's really not that complicated.
I agree. I agree. I don't want to be patronizing, but it's not. I don't know. I don't think it gets any. You can do it any easier. Besides of someone literally coming next to you and being like, "By the way, this is the train,"
which they do during rush hour still. The people they do on the microphones and stuff. They're still like over there being like, everyone please move down the freaking platform. Everyone please let the people out first. Like they just like the bare minimum. This is mostly a podcast about public transit.
That's actually, it's going to be PDP, Public Transport PTP, Public Transport Podcast.
Nice.
Yeah, in the partnership with TFL. What do you think about people? I don't know. What do you think about people who like skip the barriers, but like aggressively? Not because again, I understand that there are people who are suffering, but sometimes you just
The one cool thing about a place like Luxembourg, which I was just at, I don't know if anyone heard that I was touring headliner, but
nice.
Luxembourg has free public transit.
No way.
So literally all of it is free. And it's because it's a tax shelter nation, like it's like Ireland and stuff. So it's like there's a lot of corporations with headquarters there, so like they make a lot of money. But 80% of the people that like work in Luxembourg don't live there. Like they go back to their homes in northern France or southern Belgium or western Germany. So
really,
it's a very weird and fucked up country. But they did like a couple studies, and they're like, okay, is it worth, because like they don't have a lot of public transit, but like they have buses, they have a tram, and then all the trains going out and forth, and there's like, how much money are we making versus like how much like time we lose on checking people in, because like think of it like when you like have to tap in, tap out and stuff, like how much time that loses because you have to wait for people, and like buses then can't really run on like an explicit schedule. Like they're already competing with traffic, now they're competing with like waiting for people to ding themselves in and stuff, and and policing if people actually have tickets and stuff like that, and all of that is just like, this is literally only costing like the lowest income earners in our country. Like rich people will like it doesn't cost them like it doesn't hurt rich people one way or another whether or not they pay for transit, but for lower income people it just dings them, hurts them, and penalizes them when they have to pay. Otherwise, you free the whole thing up, everyone wins.
Yeah.
So, just saying TFL should be free. All public
Fair.
transit should be free, and the rich people should pay for it.
That's the thing. It's in the word. I think it's public.
Yeah,
It's for the public.
it's a
at
public
no
good.
cost. Yeah.
It's accessible, like, because this city's so gigantic, and it's like it's insane that it. Yeah, there's so much money that they make, which I understand. Like, they don't want to like give up the money they make and stuff, but the efficiencies and like, yeah, it is cool to like go somewhere where it's just like, no, it's just free to take a bus or whatever. It's like that's cool.
Yeah, no, that's mad. I think they tried this in not the free bits, but you know, like in some countries, like in Romania, you can pay sending an SMS.
What you pay in like text message?
Yeah, like a text message for the say bus.
Yeah.
And it's really strange because basically you have like you get people who live in big cities, and I know that from because my cousin, she lives in a fairly big city in Romania, I think second biggest. But yeah, like she is literally like you DM the government going like, oh, I'm taking the bus now, and then he goes like, okay, so now 30 cents out of your credit are gonna go, you know.
Whoa, so like they don't have like a thing you tap on, or
You can have either that or text message.
hey, you up?
Yeah.
I need to get a ride.
Yeah, that's like the kind of like Uber where you just here you go.
Oh my god, you should talk about that on stage. That's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll think about it somehow. But no, I just remember I got when I got
I accidentally drunk texted the government for a bus. Oh no, I was trying to get my weed guy.
like you up? Yeah, that was good. Like you up? Yeah, like 30 cents, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no.
You up for driving me around?
Just like getting like a night. Is it like a nightcap? But that's for alcohol, right? Oh no, for like having a drink.
Yeah, a nightcap is like a last little drink before you go home to a kebab or go home to another person or go home to yourself.
Oh yeah, no, that's.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Whoops, cut that out. That was just me cracking my knuckles.
Wow, that was really. I think I'm gonna keep it. That was really loud.
Well,
yeah,
it's stiff.
Okay, so now I'm thinking about your because I know we crossed paths quite over the summer a couple of times when we actually even met. But you did two shows. You were a part of two shows, right? Because you did one. Was it an hour or was it a half an hour and then a split bill?
So yeah, this past summer I did two different Camden Fringe shows. The first one was the triple. So it was like three comics, myself, Leighton Ruff, Mikhail Parker, doing basically 20 each, but kind of splitting it up. Like, I think the first show I did like 10 to start and then 10 to close, which didn't really make sense. But yeah, so we did that at Museum of Comedy, and we had a Saturday afternoon and then like a Sunday afternoon, and they were pretty good. Well, the second one was like 50 odd people, so that was great. First one was like 20 something, so it could have been better. And then I also did a Sunday afternoon Museum of Comedy 2-person show, but it wasn't like a split bill. It was called Super Sexy Mr. Blobby Musical Hour, and it was kind of a sketch show, but it was kind of like a variety show, but it was kind of like also some interpretive dance, and like, yeah, and me doing stand-up and stuff. So it was myself and Nicola McMurtry, and a lot of the creative ideas kind of came from Nicola. She's smarter and better at creative stuff. And so I would kind of, like, we go up together and, like, intro the show, and then I went up and, like, did 5 minutes of material of, like, stand-up, and then she came up and did, like, a character or, like, a song, and then, like, that would segue into, like, either us going back up together or me going up, and then we kind of traded off and on, and like we had some like video sketches as well, and audio sketches, and yeah, a big giant dance number to like close the show and stuff. Yeah, it was so weird, and I also like the whole thing is I don't really know Mr. Blobby. Are you familiar with
I have no idea who that is.
So all your UK listeners will know Mr. Blobby is like he's a light pink with yellow polka dotted kids entertainer. But he's also like an instigator and like a rabble rouser, and like has been on like late night TV like causing havoc and stuff. But he kind of just goes around and he just says like Blobby. That's the only thing he says. Like he didn't say any words or anything. He's like Blobby, and that's how he talks like through this like weird voice digitizer thing, and like he's just like he's bumbling and stumbling and like causes havoc and stuff. But he's like a kid's thing from the 80s and 90s from UK TV, and he's popular among a certain age. But the whole show was just like, I don't know what I've signed up for because I don't know who Mr. Blobby is, kind of thing. And then I dressed like Mr. Blobby for like the final thing. Yeah.
Do you still have the costume?
Yes. Yeah, I can't return
it. Are you planning to use it in the future?
I'd really like to do the show again with Nicola, and like do some tweaks and like do like probably a couple performances. It depends on like what fringes and stuff like that we're going. But she's wildly successful and wildly in demand, so it's kind of tough to. It was her idea to like work together for last year, which is great. So, yeah, if it only happened the one time, it was a really fun experience and stuff. But hopefully, we can do it again or do a different version of something similar.
Would you record it? Would you put it together and then like
There is I think a YouTube out there somewhere, but like I don't know if it would be worth selling to anything. But like, and like burning the material associated with it. But yeah, I don't know if I'd like 3 camera it or anything like that. But like, who knows? Yeah, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. It was fun working with Nicola, but then also like working on all this stuff that like I don't do, like sketch and like audio and like visual stuff and a dance number and all that jazz.
He sounds. But how did you get around it then? Because you only do mostly do stand up comedy, right?
Yeah, I mostly just do stand up and like kind of more storyteller based stand up and stuff. But I'm really good at everything I do. So that sounded very convincing. So, but like I've done sketches before. Like I've done YouTube sketches and things, and like I've written. I don't know how to write music, and I don't know how to dance. But like Nicola's also like a choreographer. So like yeah, we just practiced a bunch of times and stuff, and yeah, it was really tough to remember a very short dance that was not that complicated, but yeah, so it was like yeah, I've written, so like we kind of like co-wrote a bunch of stuff and for the sketches that we like put in and like the segue parts and stuff, and then just kind of went with it and did it live. So like there was a lot of live sketch, and then there's some video and some audio and stuff.
That sounds yeah, I don't know, it sounds scary for me because I can't see anything. Actually, yeah, coming back to something I was saying earlier about like starting comedy, I have like 5 minutes, I struggle now when I'm like, okay, cool, I've got about like 10, say 15 minutes, and is that it? Like I can't see further enough in the future to think, oh yeah, I'm gonna try this and I'm gonna do a bit of that, and like I see people who do improv and then even like musical comedy, or they start doing, I don't know, even like TV work, and I'm like, and if someone asks, oh, would you do it? And I'm like, maybe, but I don't know how. I have no idea where it starts. I don't even know how to,
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's just say yes, and then you figure out how to do it. It's like a lot of faking it till you make it kind of thing. but it's like the best way. Like the very first sketch I did was basically just because like I had a beard and this other comedian had a beard, and so he wrote like a fake infomercial, like the more you know situation, like, but it was just about people having beards, and it was just a dumb yeah. So it was just like a dumb 3-minute sketch we put on YouTube that like no one has seen, but he knew how to film and edit stuff, and his partner like also like knew how to like film stuff, and so like they worked together on some other ones, and they brought me in, so like I worked with him on the script and stuff, but then also like the actual quote unquote acting, and then it's just like, okay, so I'm like, okay, now I know how that works and stuff. It's the same, it's just skills you learn, and then either you maybe put it out in the world or maybe you don't. Like you can always you could start writing scripts for video sketches or something tomorrow if you wanted. Like there's no it's not like you have to do something with it, and it's not like someone's like demanding you give them work right away or like high caliber work or anything. You can just start doing whatever for you and work on those muscles, because all of comedy is just different muscles.
You're not the first person to say that, actually.
Nice.
I heard that before in a good way. I heard that before.
Yeah, like improv. I mean, improv comedy obviously sucks. Take that, improv troops. But like, there's something to be said to where improv is the main thing is like reacting and using your gut without overthinking, and also being present in the room. That, and like if you take those elements of improv for stand up, where it's like that's how you can like do those organic crowd worky stuff that's like so like of the moment that is unique to that show, and like everyone realizes like, oh my god, this is a unique moment of comedy like happening, and people usually, that's why people love crowd work so much, because it's like it is thought up on the spot in theory. Yeah, sometimes it's not. Everyone.
Do you do crowd work?
Yeah, but it's like very controlled crowd work.
Nice.
Like I don't give a shit where people work and stuff, or how long they've been dating their fucking partner or whatever. I don't care about, but like I like asking specific questions so I can get an answer within a specific thing, and then from that just segue over to
your bit.
Yeah.
Nice. That sounds good. I always thought about, again, I haven't done it yet because I don't think, but that was something that really draws me, because that's the only crowd work that I would see myself doing, but I find it really hard because sometimes I think it's more difficult, because then you have to kind of be like, oh yeah, you're in control, but then you're actually I'm in control, and then I just go, oh nice, well let me tell you this now.
Well, and don't get me wrong, this is like what I'm doing now. I've been doing comedy again since like 2012. So I've seen too much. I've bombed all over the world, so much. And like one summer in Ottawa, I was hosting like a new talent comedy competition.
Nice.
And basically, like, I wasn't getting paid very well, and it was very stressful working with the ownership group and stuff. But the payment was mostly like hosting every Tuesday, Wednesday. So it was like, great, I'm gonna host as much as possible, like, and then from that work on my hosting skills and like work on my like, hey, what do you do for a living?
Perfect. So yeah, you were saying that you were doing host work in Ottawa.
Yeah, I hosted and like kind of organized and did all the admin for a summer comedy competition. And like, so the pay was really bad, and like the stress was really bad, and it also didn't help me in the long run with that club, which it should have. But the club owner was like hard to work with, and he was kind of spiteful, and so, anyway, very petty. But so basically, the pay was like hosting almost every single show, and like getting out of it what the most I could. So for like 2 months straight, I hosted like every Tuesday, Wednesday at the club, which was like nice. It was almost like a little residency kind of thing. So, and yeah, that's where I like did all the, hey, what do you do for a living? And then try and say something funny on that. But like, yeah, ever since then, it's like, I'm not really, and if you watch a lot of London comics that do crowd work, and it's mostly like job based and stuff, it's just like it gets really boring really quickly. It's not like entertaining to me. It's not creative. It's
I
kind
think
of
it's kind of it's. I feel like sometimes it's like a Tinder joke or like it's things that you kind of like go to straight away and because it's been done unless it's something very like, very new or
it's great for doing canned crowd work. Which canned crowd work is crowd work that you quote unquote think up on the spot, but you've actually just opened up a can and you've said this exact same thing to someone, and you just pour that can on the crowd, and they're like, "Oh my god, this comic's so funny," but you've said that like 25 times. Like, "Oh, you're a banker? What do you do?" I can't even think of one.
But that would be like a good one, but it's just because you've used it before.
Yeah.
And okay. What made you start comedy? Why did you want to start doing comedy?
I grew up watching a lot of Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien is like the redheaded late night host.
Oh yeah, of course. God,
Yeah,
Jesus.
Conan.
Yeah, I was like,
That's
I
okay.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So in like Mad TV and like SNL, and so I watched a lot of sketch comedy and late night like Letterman and stuff like that, and I watched a lot of stand up, I guess, but like not like I wasn't like crazy like. I wasn't crazy into stand-up until, like, maybe, like, I was later teens or something like that. But I was more just into comedy and, like, comedy everything. And even without realizing it, like, was actually writing, like, sketches and, like, jokes and stuff. But, like, because I was just writing shit down that I thought would be funny and stuff. But it was, again, more for, like, oh, if I could be a writer on SNL or something, or write for Conan O'Brien, that'd be amazing. So that was my childhood, and then I did nothing with that until I was 26 or 27. I forget how age works. Anyway, no, I must have been 26. And yeah, because in the fall of 2011, I met a stand-up comic at a house party, and this girl that like I was trying to get with everybody at home had like kept introducing me to everyone at the house party. He's like, "Oh, this is Greg. He's hilarious." And then this stand-up comic that I met, who like, turns out he wasn't like a pro comic or anything. He was just like someone that did it kind of like pro-am style. But he was like thoroughly thought I was hilarious. And he's like, "Hey, have you ever thought of doing stand-up?" And I had been to a few stand-up shows, but nothing like crazy. Like I saw some like Canadian famous people, and like I loved watching a few of them, but like I didn't go that often. I had no desire. And then as soon as he said that, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I could go do stand-up. And so he invited me to do his show in like 2 months in like late January or whatever, which was like, it was November we met, so it basically gave me like a month and a half to like work on my 5 minutes. And I said, yeah, I'll do it if my friend Logan could also do it, because we, I guess, talked about it. And so we wrote together for like the next month and a half, just 5 minutes, like practicing on each other and stuff like that. And then went to the show, and it was a fundraiser for Ottawa University Environmental Law Society, like students.
Right.
So it was like everyone was like in third year, fourth year, like, and like just it was at a sports pub at like Ottawa University. So it was like everything you would think would be horrible, but the host was good, and the host was like, "Hey, this is like a couple of people's first times and stuff," and like they were just crazy supportive. I didn't tell like anyone about it. I told like one friend, and she showed up, and it was great, and she supported. But I got a film of it, and then like that I showed to a bunch of people, because I was just like, I showed up to my friend group after. I'm like, "Hey, look what I did," and I like had performed comedy. And then one would say that's like how I started, but like my first actual comedy club was like 2 months later, and like basically same set, and like I got like 20 friends out and stuff. Like when you start and stuff, you get so many people, and that went so well that the club owner was like, "Hey, was this your first time?" I'm like, "Yeah, basically." He's like, "Oh my god, that was great! Like showed so much potential. Like really good job. Like come back. Like blah blah blah." I'm like, "Oh my god, that's great." I mean, in retrospect, it's probably because I brought 20 friends. Like, he was so stoked about me being there. Because the next time I did it was, again, like 2 months later at the same club. And I bombed my dick off. Like, I just, like, went over on time. I basically read my jokes from my set list that was, like, on stage. I was just nervous. Like, I didn't have friends in the crowds. And it's definitely not my worst bomb. Like, I had a pretty bad one on Friday night, but
No.
oh yeah, but that was more situational. But anyway, it was a bad enough bomb that like it's always going to stick with me as like one of the worst ones in my head, kind of like whatever. But in that moment, like I went to the club owner again, and I was like, "Hey, I'm like, sorry, I went over on time. Like, I didn't see the light because like they had like the red light and stuff."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, you went over." I'm like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have done those last 2 jokes." And he's like, "Yeah, you shouldn't have." I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, and then he asked me like, "Have you gotten any practice since last time?" I was like, "No." And he's like, "Okay, well, it shows." And that was like that night was the do this and do it seriously or never do this again.
Yeah.
So unfortunately for the world, I chose to do it seriously, and I went to like the local pub that like all the comics went to after the show, and like finally like because like the first show was just like no one knew me, and I had a bunch of friends there, but now it's just like I'm one of the comics. They all just saw me bomb, and we were talking about like where can you practice and stuff. So like that's when they were like, okay, so you can go to this open mic and you can do this and do this monthly, and then this other club you can do like monthly, and like, and then that was when it was like actually starting to. So like I consider my starting date like that bomb. It's like May 23rd, 2012. So that's when I actually started comedy, because like all the other 2 shows before were just, you know, getting fluffed or testing or whatever. Like,
oh God, no! But I think. How do you recover from? Because you mentioned Friday. Like how do you recover from a bomb? Like how bad
Well,
if it's not too much, but like how bad does it hurt you?
Friday was a very bad Covent Garden based gig that you get paid in pizza for. And everyone listening at home might know what that gig is, and if you don't know, don't start comedy, okay? But there was 2 rows of, let's say, 8 15-year-old French girls, like from France, and a chaperone. And then there was like an older couple from, I don't know, East London, and then like a couple of 18-year-olds behind, like in the back row, and then like 2 other people that were probably like early 20s, also from France. So literally 4 people out of the 10, 12 like spoke English. Like, and God. So it like, yeah, I bombed, and it was because I was performing English comedy to 15-year-old French girls. Like, so it wasn't like, I'm not taking that one personal. Like, I'm not like, yeah, it was painful, and I like got my payment, aka my pizza, and then like just left. Like I should have stayed and supported the other acts, but I was just like, I had done an earlier gig, and like it went well for what it was. So I was just like, I'm just gonna go home. I don't want to be out in Covent Garden and deal with all this stuff.
Oh man, I think it's heartbreaking sometimes, and I think it's the worst when you bomb and then you have to go down and actually watch the rest and
support. Yeah.
Sometimes it takes the pain away because you're like, oh, I'm not the only one, but sometimes it's just like, oh God.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, oh, it turns out what I did was actually pretty good compared to everyone else. Like,
it's really hard.
There's still like levels of, and like I hold myself to a certain standard where it's like, I should have been able to, like, I still feel bad on Friday. Like I should have been able to get them, but I'm not actually gonna get Gen Z. Not even Gen Z. I don't know what 15-year-olds are now, but like, if they're not they're Gen Z, then they're Gen Alpha or whatever. Like, I'm not going to relate to them with my, like, dating material and stuff like that. Like, do they want to know what a 38-year-old has to say? No. They're like, I could literally be their fucking dad. Like,
yeah, which is...
I don't look at everyone at home. I look great. I look like 25, but...
True, actually, you know, when you... Because I didn't know your age.
Yeah.
And then when you were like, oh, yeah, 26, I was like, no way. Because when you started comedy, and I was like, okay, so
old,
and I was like... Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm old as shit. I'm too old to be famous, so everyone listening, don't try stuff when you're old in age.
No, I think it's every you can try at any moment, and I've done it for I've done it for 2 years. I still plan on doing it for as long as I can get to do it.
No, yeah, I'm joking, and that's the thing is like once you do it and stuff. If you're actually a comedian and you're meant to do it, you'll never quit, even if you take time away from it, even if you like don't gig for a couple weeks or years or months or what, like even if you stop for extended period of time, there'll always be something inside of you that will never, like, because it's such a experience to do comedy and like perform comedy for people, and like there's no real way to explain it because like it's such a mix of dopamine and like I don't know, not testosterone, but like it's just such a hard experience to describe to someone that's like never done it. That's like it's addicting, and yet it's like soul crushing. And like
Well, this is it's crazy because I had this thing actually a few months ago where I stopped because actually a few months, kind of like at the beginning of the year, where I had to take it slower.
Yeah.
Because I started to, like I went through like getting diagnosed. I went through trying to, do something called dialectical behavioural therapy, which helps me out with, and then obviously those things take time. And then also I've noticed that I was just getting tired and worn out really quickly, and to kind of like even at the times when I was like I'm not going to gig as much, and I know people who stopped doing comedy because they were like it's as much as I enjoy it, it's destroying me. Yeah, and I'm like fair enough, but then to me I actually felt like I can't live without it, and
yeah, that's the thing. It's like and like that's why some people do the start, and some people that still do it are probably like not actual comedians, but like they're addicted to like the weird hustle and like the just keeping themselves busy and stuff like that. Because it's so easy to burn out with comedy, and it's not healthy to like do comedy when you're burnt out. And so like not lately, but October was kind of busy. November's going to be busy. And sometimes, like, going into that show Friday, like, I kind of have to, like, do a mantra for myself of, like, comedy is fun, and I like comedy. Like, and I just kind of, like, have to tell myself that, like, sometimes.
What do you do, because I'm on the team where if I'm at home, for example, if I'm on my own, I rarely watch comedy now, besides of, like, what I do. Just because as much as I love it, I also... What are you on? Like, are you like, I'm gonna watch a stand up on the way home now, or
no? I've basically hate comedy, but it's just because I'm so overexposed. It's just because I see so much comedy live and bad comedy live that I can't then go home and just sit there and be like, whoa, what does Ken Chong have to say about dating or something? Or like, and it's just like, and not to say that some of these people shouldn't be getting specials, but I don't like, I'm very particular about my sense of humor now.
Same.
Like, I'm very, very selective, and I'd much rather rewatch all of the Predator and Alien movies, which I'm doing right now.
Oh, no way.
In like sequential order, like chronological order, instead of watching the newest Ali Wong or whatever. Like, because one, I don't want to be influenced by famous people and their specials.
That's what I think about sometimes as well.
I don't want to be influenced at all. I want to stay true to my voice and like keep just what my comic mind and stuff. And then too, like I want to break from comedy. Like I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts like comedy podcasts except this one, obviously. But like, because like I don't listen to Joe Rogan or like any of the kind of like just comedians talking style.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, I'd rather listen to news ones or like learning about history or what have you.
I know sometimes I do usually listen to like tech ones just because I have some like bits that like draw me to on that side. But then, I agree, and I feel sometimes I feel guilty about it. You know, I feel guilty about people going like, "Oh, do you want to go and watch?" Like, I think we were chatting. I mean, I'm kind of thinking I'll probably go and watch Daniel Schloss in February.
Yeah.
That's because I love, like, I think he's my favorite, like, British, I know Scottish,
Yeah.
but yeah, British comedian. But then when even like John Mulaney, which is like one of my, I don't want to say people like the reasons why I started doing comedy.
Yeah, I love
But
Mulaney.
there was like £90 for a ticket to sit in like a. I was like, I can't. I genuinely
Yeah.
can't
And that,
justify it.
that's the thing. Like, I have trouble watching. I watched Berbigula's newest one, The Old Man in the Pool.
How was it?
That was good, and I was really. It was in a Wyndham Theater near like Leicester Square and stuff. And,
okay.
Which I hadn't been there before, and it's a nice old theater, and the seats. Yeah, like I bought tickets for me and my friend that was visiting from Canada, and like the tickets were friggin' crazy for what they were, but like they were pretty close, and like
Nice.
it was a good show,
Okay.
and I really like his storytelling and stuff like that, and like that is something that like you kind of want to see in a theater. I think I saw Mulaney's not his most recent special, like the one about rehab, but the one before.
Yeah.
I saw that in like a theater in Toronto, like as he was like touring it, and, like working on it, and like that was freaking dope. Like, and yeah, I would love to, but even that theater was like, I don't know, I was like maybe 20 rows back or something, so it was like pretty close, and like you could see a lot. Like, I don't want to see. I would never go to like a stadium show of anything. Like, I don't want to see stadium comedy. I don't want to see like these big. I want to see some of these people in a comedy club where there's like 150 people.
Yeah,
and like they're working on
right?
something. Yeah, like that was like back when Chappelle started dropping all those transphobic specials and stuff. But my favorite one was the fourth one that he did in the club. That was like the least worked on, where like he just like was in a club and like kind of like it very much felt like a work in progress, and that was my favorite one because it was just like, oh, like this is way more comedy that I would love.
It makes sense. I think I was going to say earlier when we were chatting about when you were talking about like the watching John Mulaney and Mark Birbiglia.
Yeah.
I tried to watch Mark Birbiglia, but the thing is that and I don't know if I need to put a disclaimer here, but when we found out that my mom passed away, I was watching Mike Birbiglia. So every time, and I feel horrible because I want to watch him, and I heard so many good things, and then, but as soon as I generally the other day I was trying to put it on his like last Netflix special. I just tried to put it on just to give it a try because I think it was my girlfriend's husband or something like that was the one that was watching when I found out about my mom passing, and all I could think of was my mom, and I was like, oh, I can't, and I feel bad about it because I love him. I think he's a brilliant comedian.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if Mike was here in the room, and you know what, we got him. Come on in, Mike.
Yeah.
No, he would say 100% that your mental health and like stuff like that trumps comedy any day, and that's what people don't realize in comedy when they perform it. It's like also comedy is not therapy, and your mental health sometimes has to take a precedent. Like sometimes you have to reduce performing comedy like you did this year and stuff. Like sometimes you have to take a step back and stuff, or you have to stop drinking at comedy shows, or you have to just because comedy is not therapy, and like people like have different triggers and things like that all the time with like how you experience shit and stuff. So it's 1,000% fine.
As well as that, I think about sometimes where I don't know if you've noticed recently, but at times you get people who or like you get people doing comedy, but they just say something for a reaction.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like when you said about like Dave Chappelle, where he's like, I just want to like out, but at least to me, my definition of comedy is like it's funny. It has ultimately to be funny. It shouldn't leave someone thinking, oh boy, or it shouldn't make people think, I don't know, about anything else. Or like just I hate this, like some specials that I've watched where people are just clapping at like statements, and I'm like, okay, it's beautiful, but you're not doing a TED talk, you know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of like, we forgot the whole idea of what
Yeah.
we want.
Well, and I would say, like, to close the loop on it, like that Dave Chappelle special where he's in the club, he's sitting on the stool, and he just kind of riffing. It almost feels like a work in progress. He's telling like a long-winded story with like a pretty good punch at the end, but it's like mostly about like that pimp or whatever, and then that was one of my favorite. And the one right before it, or whichever one wasn't as transphobic, but the one before it in like Washington, where it was like at like an arena. It was the most sycophantic, horrible special I've seen in forever. Because like he would just not say punchlines, and people were laughing because it was Dave Chappelle. Like that's when he started like hitting the mic to his knee or whatever, and then people just laughed because they loved him. And that's the problem with the cult of personality that like celebrity is. If like you become famous enough that people just laugh at you making statements, it's not over the comedy.
It's really. It's so hard though, because I remember when I watched, like when I started doing comedy, when you watch someone doing comedy and you're like literally you watch I don't know, any, for example, I think with Kevin Hart, you kind of, at least I've seen the difference where I was like, it was so relatable, so quick, easy for me to laugh, to then the one that he did during lockdown in his house.
Yeah,
it was, again, like I said, it was just like a statement after statement after statement, but people were still laughing because and I was like, oh God.
It's almost like goodwill that people's built up with.
But also, I feel like to me, like to a new comedian or someone who wants to try comedy, it gives like this false sense of progress, because you think, oh, they can just say anything, and then you go in like an open mic or you go to like a semi-pro gig and someone says like, again, like a sexist thing, or they're like, oh, why aren't you laughing? Is it not funny? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, it just turned out that was incredibly sexist or racist or whatever. Yeah, no, and that's like it doesn't sound like I am, but I'm a big proponent for actual free speech, and like I think you can say whatever the hell you want, but it needs to be funny. And free speech does not mean freedom of consequence. And so, like, if you are saying wackadoo, racist, sexist, whatever shit, like, you deserve to be torn down publicly or off stage or whatever. And sometimes it's people doing it from ignorance and not realizing that they're punching down to whatever. And sometimes it's just because, like, they want to be contrarian, or they think they're being a dark... like they think they're being a fucking free speech activist and saying the stuff that people don't want to hear, but it's just they're being lazy and there's no punchlines and stuff. And so if like you can tell dark jokes if it's funny. If it's funny enough, it's funny enough and it's fine.
I think I tried I don't know, we didn't meet when last year at the end of the year I was going through like a tough time, and I had all those like not jokes, but I had those like dark ideas, and it was very like, dead parents, this. But again, there was some way I wasn't punching, because again it was because I do storytelling, so it's mostly about me. But then I realized that the reaction I was getting on stage was a lot of and a lot of like, I hope he's okay, kind of, which I think again, if I were to record right now and post something on YouTube or like on my Instagram, then that's fine. It doesn't have to be funny, because I can. That's I feel like, again, the freedom of speech. I agree with you. It's huge, and it should be advocated for. But it's when you do stand-up comedy, it's about, well, what's the main, like your main purpose shouldn't be to address this problem or whatever. You should be,
especially not problems that no one has asked you to address. A lot of problems you're just creating for yourself because you can't be a straight white man anymore.
I think that's why I love Nate Bargatze when he did that Leonardo DiCaprio thing, where it's like, the one with the whales.
No,
it was something to do with like basically like I think it was a whale. Anyway, something to do with like either whales or dolphins. And because he was like, Leonardo DiCaprio tweeted about it, so I guess that's it done now. Like, and that's how I'm like, wrong platform, wrong. Again, beautiful idea. I'm glad you're trying to raise awareness, but this is not it. That's not what you came here for. But. Yeah. Oh man, no.
I think comedy again can be anything, but it's also like know the audience and like know yourself, and that's why it's like it's somewhat. It's somewhat, yeah, sure, people are like, oh, the goalposts have changed over the years. It's like, yeah, guess what? Everything society has changed over the years.
Yeah.
Like, everything has. Like, we used to just not have penicillin and just die. You just fucking die all the time from, like, scraping your leg. But that doesn't mean, like, you need to go out here and be like, well, you can't do anything with these molds these days. You can't, like...
Die from scratching.
Like, come on. Like, yeah, it's just like, read the room. And that's the thing. There's a lot of comics that have no self-awareness. Like, absolutely no self-awareness. And we're all delusional to a bit. Because, like,
I think you have to as
do comedy unless you have some delusion. Smart people get out of comedy as soon as they start. But, like, besides some delusion, you have to have some self-awareness. And, like, of just who you are, how the perspective is. And, like, I'm so hacky. Every set I start with in this country, I explain that I'm Canadian. And I don't like doing it, but if I don't, the audience is like, is this guy American or Canadian or something? Like, they're thinking about it instead of paying attention.
Yeah.
And if I don't, like, kind of just quickly address it and say something kind of funny about it, then they realize, oh, he knows what he is and he's funny about it. And, like, and then that gives me good graces to do whatever. And, like, it's very simplistic, but, like, I don't feel like you can, like, not address some of the things that make you other, like, put the audience into questioning mode instead of listening mode.
Yeah.
And whether it's subconscious or conscious or whatever, yeah.
It's hard to like, even, like, want to deal with or, like, understand it, because I remember when I started, someone told me, was like, oh, you must say that you're from Romania. And which I actually, funny enough, now is my first joke.
Yeah.
But
I've come to tell you jokes.
One joke. Two jokes. Yeah, I remember someone came to me actually talking about that. Have you seen the Dracula video? With like one, ha, ha, ha. It was just like a very bad Dracula character. And someone at work, one of my old managers in one of my older previous jobs, he just comes next to me as we were doing like the briefing before we were opening the bar, and he just puts the phone next to my face and he plays that video and he just asks everyone to look and spot the difference. And there was this like video of like a vampire going like one, ha ha ha, two, ha ha ha, and it was like, aren't they the same? And I still, again, lovely manager. I'm still keeping in touch with them, but I was like, fuck me, what is that?
Yeah, and like, yeah, you don't have, like, yeah, again, with comedy, you don't have to explain why you are other or who you are or whatever, but like, it's just, it's every new audience is a new audience, and it's this weird monoculture organism that it's like, it's group thinking that, like, if you don't address how you look or how you talk or why you are there, like, besides like the quote unquote norm, so to speak. So like in the norm in this country would be like straight white British guy, basically. Like that's like what audiences are like, oh yeah, this guy can just go up and start talking. We understand who he is. Yeah. And that sucks. And I'm not saying that should be the standard or anything like that, but I'm just saying like audiences over the past 80 years of stand-up comedy, that's just what they're used to, and they don't have to like.
Yeah, because it just, okay, we're like, you know, we're starting now while
like baseline,
asking questions like, oh, where is he from? What's he?
But
what's that name? What's the?
Why do they look like that? Why are they dressed like that? Like, why do they sound like that? All that jazz.
It's crazy to think about it, but you know, it's been awesome chatting with you.
Yeah, I can keep going. Let's talk about Wallachia and stuff like that. And
what do you want to talk about?
Romania?
Yeah,
just. Do you hate Vlad Tepes? Are you a big fan?
I don't know. I feel like being a kid, I guess.
Do you feel like you're also a successor of the Roman Empire?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we well, Romania. It's kind of like in the name. It's there. I think we are successors. I think we are probably like the best that the Roman Empire had to give. No, I think no, that's not true. I don't mind. I think Vlad. I don't condone the behavior, but I see.
Strong stance. You're anti-impaling.
Yeah, but I see why he's done it. If that makes sense. Yeah, I'm very, like, yeah.
Hey, you can only push so far, and then you got something you got to impale someone.
Yeah, like I don't want to say that he's again, because he's not. It's terrible. But how else can you like educate medieval people on not? I don't know, sleeping with their sisters or stealing someone's wallet.
It's starting to be that you can't impale anyone anymore without offending someone. And that's where we need to get back to the roots. You could just impale whoever you wanted. No one would write a tweet about it.
I mean, sometimes I do wonder. I do look at someone, say, and I'm like, reading history with someone when I read history, and I'm like, I wish they were like, or like I wish I was there, but like with the technology we have now, or I'm kind of curious about where even like when Vlad was like, yeah, I'm gonna start impaling people, and I trying to say like, did they do like like one of those like, is it a pool on is it called a pool?
Like a betting pool?
No, like the one on Instagram, and you're like, yes,
poll, yeah,
poll.
yeah.
Sorry, yeah, poll. So was it like, would he do a poll? Would he be like, I don't give a fuck about your opinion, I'm just gonna do it anyway?
Oh, I mean, to be fair, it was fashionable to impale people at the time. He just was so prevalent.
And he was a good-looking guy as well.
Yeah, he was also hot. Yeah.
He was a very, very, very strong. That's why I'm growing the mustache as well. It's
good look.
Yeah, it's for Vlad.
A little Draculish, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's where they took like I remember once I was at the gig and someone just went like Dracula, and they were like, oh, you know where Dracula's from? And someone said like the fucking like town in like Yorkshire or whatever, the
where
the Bram Stoker's
from? Yeah.
Dracula's, yeah.
Is he Irish?
No, I think
British?
Yeah, he's British, but I
Okay.
think he was like near, like Hull or something. Like again,
Yeah.
And then this lady, she just like screams the name, and I was like, I think and again, that's what I improvised. I was like, I didn't think that the British would find anything worth stealing from Romania, but yet they were like, oh, Dracula, he's not from Transylvania, he's from, again, Yorkshire,
Stoke-on-Trent, or whatever. Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense because they are like UKIP people and mostly
Yeah.
Stoke. So yeah, they must have hated the
In the UK,
culture.
first they come for the Draculas, and then they come for the werewolves, and then they come for the Frankensteins.
Yeah, what's next? Twilight was
Yeah.
it was Robert Pattinson love story in London. Even though great two first movies were great. Yeah, which Twilight was your favorite?
Never watched any of them.
No way.
Too old.
Oh man, I didn't tell people that I was watching it. Like it was
That's
one of
fine.
those,
There's no judge.
and I know, but kids my age were judgmental. Yeah, like it was kind of Justin Bieber thing. Where
I was just old enough that it was like cool to not watch it.
oh, okay.
Like I would have been fine to watch it either way, but it just skipped below me into
Right.
yeah.
No, the first one was incredible. Second one was okay. The third one was like where they
Of course.
destroyed it. I know it's such a shame. It's like Fast and Furious, man. Just stop making them.
Never. Guys, Fast and Furious guys, if you're listening, never stop making them. They're great. They don't get more ridiculous every time. They're very grounded in reality. They've already done space. They've done submarines.
The airplanes?
They've done airplanes like in every single one. I mean, I hope they just like start doing time travel, start doing dinosaurs, Transformers, whatever. Just like bring it all.
Jurassic Park would be cool
Jurassic
with
Park
Yeah, fast Jurassic.
Fast Jurassic Park.
Yeah, the dinosaur next to you is Fast and Furious. That would be. I mean, I guess now we'll have to make sure that we get the credit for this because it might come out.
Great.
Yeah, Fast and Furious, Jurassic Park. Well, yeah, okay, because you were saying I've watched Alien again. It's the only movie that I own on iTunes, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, Alien.
Big up
first.
Apple. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's when I watch it, I can't believe it. 1979.
Yeah, it's crazy good for when it was made. Like it's so good. Yeah, Alien's good. So I'm watching it in the order in the movie universe.
Right.
So that means all the Predators basically first.
First, okay.
Because it's like the Predator, like first one's set in like 87 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then the most recent Predator one, the Prey. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I haven't.
Dude, it's so good.
Really?
That one's so good. That's set in like contact era North America though. So it's like 1717 or something like that. And it's predators come down and like find an indigenous tribe and like also there's like fur trappers and it's great though. It's so well done and I hope there's a sequel. It's so good. But so that's like technically the first one in the chronological order. Yeah.
Oh,
Prey.
wow.
Yeah, it's so good. And it's done by an indigenous director, I believe, and writer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so that one was great. And I'm on Soldier right now, which is this weird Kurt Russell movie where he's like a child that was trained from birth to be a soldier. And so he's tied in. So I'm doing like the extended cut. So Predators, Blade Runner, Aliens, all chronological again, because Blade Runner is set in the same universe as like the Alien universe of like Weyland Yutani and stuff like that.
What?
So it's all set in the same universe. And in Blade Runner, Roy, the one, what are those called? Replicants, is like, I was at the Tannhauser Gate and I saw this on the shoulder of Orion. And this movie, Shoulder, Kurt Russell fought at Tannhauser Gate in like the opening credits. So he's like, he fought at the same battle that the replicant fought at in Blade Runner. So Blade Runner and this movie are tied together. So it's very not tied together, but it's like, yeah, and then eventually I'll get through all of the aliens. This is all just because basically I haven't seen Alien 3.
You haven't?
Haven't seen Aliens 3.
No
I've
way.
seen like, I think everything else. But at least
Aliens
once.
3.
But and I was like, oh, I should watch it, but I should watch everything like before it. Because that's how my brain works.
Yeah,
like can't get out of it.
I think when
30 hours later.
Yeah, well, I feel like this when I started watching Star Wars like in chronological order.
Oh yeah,
and even though I think because I watched Andor, and I cried at the end. It was such a beautiful show, and I think I Rogue One.
Yeah.
And I don't like Rogue One at all. And
Rogue One's pretty good. It's heavy on the wars, light on the star. It's a war movie.
Yeah.
That's like set in Star Wars, and it's a sad ending, I guess. Is that what the ending? Or
no? I think I was just like, no, it just didn't click with me. I was a bit like, she's asking too many questions.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, and now I need to get back, and I need to go and go and watch everything. But I agree about it. I'm the same because now I was thinking, have you ever watched Dark? It's my favorite TV show.
Dark, is that
on Netflix? It's about like time traveling.
No, I don't think so. But that's not the 1899 one, right? No, that's a separate.
No, that's separate.
Okay,
but. Yeah, Dark. It came out. First season came out before COVID, and the second, and I think the third came during COVID. And I just watched them all in chronological order. Like every time the second season came, I watched the first, and then the second. The third one came, I watched first, second, third.
Nice.
And it's amazing. It's like it's brilliant because it's so complicated but so beautiful. And now there is something else that came from the main actor, and it's got like Mark Ruffalo in it, and I don't really like Mark Ruffalo, so...
Oh, Mark Ruffalo?
Ruffalo, sorry.
Hulk? Yeah, he's fine. He's a nice boy.
I don't know. I kind of...
He seems like a good guy.
Nah, don't know. And I wanted to watch it because I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I'm so excited because I've seen the guy from Dark's face, and I was like, it's coming, and he came on Thursday, and I just I checked the cast, and I was like, fuck, it ruined it now.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
There are some, again, I'm not like that with everything,
but yeah, you get
there
bad vibes from or whatever.
yeah, there are some actors that, or like even, I don't know, people where I just can't, like, I lose interest as soon as.
Yeah, I mostly just cut out like the bad quote unquote people, like Chris Brown or Johnny Depp or stuff like that. But those are the
Really?
like the people where everyone's like, hey, just separate the art from the artist. I'm like, no, they're bad. Fuck Chris Brown and fuck Johnny Depp. They're abusive pieces of shit, and I don't support them.
Fair. I'm still torn about Johnny Depp. I feel like they were both. Is it just because of the Amber thing, or is it?
No, it's like how he was very abusive to her, and like
I agree. But I feel like in that situation it was such a weird dynamic. Again, I'm not condoning it. And
he was found guilty of abuse in the UK courts, and then it's just like he was only let off in the American ones, where like the burden of proof was different. So
I mean, OJ got away with it. So
I wouldn't say I'm team Amber Heard, but I'm just team anti Johnny Depp. And it's also like he's a fucking dude that's like been lying to us for years about going bald, and it's like I don't trust you, man. Like, just own the shit that you're going bald, like John Travolta did. Like, I don't like this whole I look like Keith Richards bullshit, okay? I like, grow up, stop wearing so many scarves, and, like, just fucking be an adult and, like, shave your head like John Travolta, like an honorable, honest person.
You know what? John Travolta doesn't look bad.
He looks great because it's true.
Yeah.
It's honest, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
So if you're not an honest person, get the fuck out of here.
Fair enough. You know, that's I think with Chris Brown, I like some of his songs, but I'm not that crazy about him.
Nah, he's dead to me.
But
fuck you, Chris Brown. If you're listening.
Well, so we got Chris Brown and probably Johnny Depp. That will have to come in the podcast now too.
Yeah,
to
defend yourselves.
Defend themselves.
If you want.
No, I don't think I would. Again, I mean, no, I might. It depends. If their PR reaches out, we'll see what we're gonna do. But I don't know. No, but God, because I don't know. With Johnny, I feel like he's a troubled guy, and she's a troubled lady. And again, it's not too. What's the word?
I have a problem because the whole thing was he's like 25 years older than her when they started dating, and he should know better.
Yeah.
So it should have never happened, and the fact that we just excuse whatever because of addiction or mental health or whatever on either side, where it's just like, you know what, maybe don't, if you're like 50, don't date someone that's like 21.
Yeah.
Like, we just...
You know, you did say that amazing thing earlier about like freedom of speech, but then that doesn't mean it's a freedom of freedom of consequence.
Yeah.
And I kind of I feel like that, where the reality is if you've done something fucked up, it doesn't mean, again, people get second chances, but you kind of...
Believe me, he's getting a lot of second chances.
Yeah, he did actually.
So
and he's got back the Diora, so he's getting the money back from the Sauvage.
It's absolutely, there's no such thing as getting canceled today in this day and age. So
I think Louis C.K. was my biggest disappointment.
That he didn't stay canceled?
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
Because look, he ruined Parks and Rec for me. I love Parks and Rec, and I can't watch it now. I mean, I can, but not the episodes where he's in.
Yeah.
And it's such a shame.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Again, there's no such thing as really getting canceled these days. So
it's kind of like getting canceled for a little bit and then coming back.
Yeah, without learning a lesson, and then just everyone that like anti woke or whatever is like, oh yeah, we got to support this person because they're trying to get they were canceled or something.
Do you know who has actually got canceled and I've never seen them again? Kramer from Seinfeld.
No, he's not canceled.
Really? Because
Yeah, he was one of the first ones that like was almost like that did get quote unquote canceled, but that wasn't the word for it at the time. But no, he's still out there. He's still doing stuff. Like he did a Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry.
no way. After
He said the N-word at the comedy club. Yeah. Because, like, that happened in, like, early 2000s, and there was a
Yeah.
video. Like, it was just the start of, like, smartphones
yeah.
and stuff. But, yeah, like, 5, 6 years, 8 years later, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, within the past a little bit, he's done a Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry, and, like, they talked about it and stuff. So, but it's also, like, he learned a lesson, obviously, from that and getting, quote-unquote, canceled. But, like, he didn't, like... he didn't need money, I don't think. I don't think any of the Seinfeld people need money.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, they're all... Maybe Jason Alexander. I don't know if he's doing anything. And he's done a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
Not bad stuff. I just mean bad work.
Bad work.
Yeah, it's just bad acting.
Which is a shame. 'Cause
and
I look like him quite a bit. So
no, I don't think so.
I've been told that I do. So.
No, I disagree.
Yeah.
No, he's a short pipsqueak. You're a tall giant of a man. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus comes from like old money.
Ah,
She's
yeah,
like
but she's not
billionaire.
bad. I think she's a good actor though.
Yeah, she's also a good actor, but
Yeah.
is also like a billionaire because she's a nepo baby.
Really?
Well, her parents were like millionaires or something. Yeah.
That's crazy. Fuck, I wish sometimes because I was adopted, right? So
Yeah.
I there is a part of me that wishes like every time I wake up in the morning, I get a text message from someone saying, "You gotta call me now. I found your biological father." And
he's rich.
Yeah, I just want to be like, I just made the list, and like King Charles was in Romania in 1997.
Oh, snap.
So yeah, who else? Because I think Nicolas Cage.
Ooh, that's a good possibility.
And that would be nice, because I do
that one would actually be good. King Charles doesn't fuck, so you're
but he's rich though. Like I would get into like the royal.
He's kind of you'd get go away money, but you wouldn't get like you're my new son money. That's the thing with King Charles,
which is fine. I'll take the go away money.
Sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind I'd love go away money.
Yeah, from the royal family, it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
from the royal family. It's
look at like
more
Prince
than
Andrew.
most.
Yeah. Give me 5 minutes, I'll shut up. I won't tell anyone that I'm balding because of you, Charles. But no, hopefully, again, if that happens, I'd love for that to be true. I was thinking about, I think I had, there is somewhere a list of like celebrities that went to Romania in 1997. I'm like, hopefully, one of them might be my dad.
One of them might be your dad.
Yeah, and then I wouldn't need sponsorship for this podcast because I can have my dad sponsor me.
Hello, my father, David Hasselhoff. It turns out you were touring through Romania in 1997. Please sponsor my podcast.
Actually, this is what I'm probably going to do from now on. On every episode, I'm just going to bring a name of a celebrity that traveled to Romania in 1997.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Late 1996, because I was born in May. So, yeah, actually, it's 1996 that I need to check.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so if you know a celebrity that's traveled to Romania in 1996, please let me know, because I'd love to meet my dad.
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I've got to go for my gig. I'm going to be... Wait, what time is it?
Yeah, I gotta go get ready for my gig tomorrow. Follow me on all the socials. Greg Houston Comedy, the most things. G Houston Comedy on Twitter. I refuse to call it anything else besides Twitter. It's also dying, by the way, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I think that with every time someone calls it Twitter, Elon Musk dies inside a little bit.
So I'm fine with that.
And I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'll take that. Yeah, I used to like him. I don't like him anymore. That's... Yeah, sad.
Yeah, he had a brief moment of almost being like an Uberman and like unifier of the world, and like was about to do cool shit, solve the environment, solve a lot of shit, and then he went rogue to I'm a piece of shit now, and he's just like
it was. I think for our generation was like the biggest. I think to me at least it's like the biggest one. That you'd see and you're like almost like, oh my god, I love this guy.
Yeah, and then doing funny stuff and then also like trying to solve problems. And then he's like, "Oh, people are too soft these days." And it's like, what? Where did this come from?
God, yeah.
Like,
it breaks my heart. I'm gonna be
No,
honest. It
it's just-
really.
it just shows how stupid he was the whole time, and just how
Yeah.
most of his ideas were not his. He just bought good ideas.
Yeah, please don't sue us. I have nothing
Yo,
to.
fuck you, Elon Musk. I don't care. Fuck Chris Brown. Fuck Johnny Depp. Fuck Elon Musk.
The disclaimer is those are Greg's beliefs.
The thing is, Elon might actually tweet the show now.
Oh yeah, actually no. Okay, so
Actually-
Elon,
Because
look,
he's so petty.
yeah. Well, I mean, imagine if I'm actually thinking, does he have a Threads account?
I don't know.
Because that would be funny if like he's gonna start having Threads.
I'm sure he has a burner account.
User 157. Like Thread is so shit. I'll go back to X in a heartbeat.
But yeah, follow me on Threads. That thing that no one really uses except for 10 people.
I use it more now. I get into it more. But yes, everyone that's going to listen to this, the whole 12 of you, follow Greg.
My mom. Hi, Rita. Hi, my mom.
Oh, she's gonna, would you?
She'll probably, if I give
Yeah.
her that link, she'll probably listen.
Oh,
to
nice.
this.
Yeah, hi Rita. That's another thing that I can do with like such a small podcast. You know, I can just do shout outs to everyone.
If you're going to be in Western Germany in late June, come to my comedy show at Club something, Transac or something. I don't know where it is. And yeah, there'll be other gigs and stuff. If you see me on the road, buy me a coffee or a slice of pizza.
Yeah, let's. I mean, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thanks for having
I'm
me.
so excited to, get this released. Good luck, man.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, good luck. No, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And auf Wiedersehen for.
That was it, folks. Thank you for listening, and see you next week. Bye.